Hello everyone and welcome to the new show of the M&M Show. A panel brought up of 3 or 4 guys talking about their fertility journeys, mental health, and we're out to try and break the stigma that is attached to these topics some people don't like to talk about. Just going to add the boys. Just send it. Right, there we are. Frank, how's it going, buddy?
You back, Kevin? How are you, mate?
Good, thank you. Thanks for joining me tonight on this the M&M Show.
Thanks for having me.
I'm just waiting for Gareth to jump on, if he can jump off his bike for 5 minutes. How you doing, buddy? All good?
Yeah, good, mate. Good, mate. Yeah, weather makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, mate. It does. It does. Yeah, just touching on the new show, the M&M Show panel of guys, just talking about the topics some people don't like to talk about, and we hope to break the stigma that's attached to male infertility and mental health.
That's it, exactly. Hopefully talking about all sorts of uncomfortable discussions and whatnot.
Yeah. I'll probably talk some nonsense.
Exactly.
But I like the fact that us men, especially us three, are jumping on tonight. We've been through a lot on our fertility journeys, and we can still smile and laugh and joke, and so I mean, it's still life after the fertility journey, basically.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's so tough, but ultimately this is all about the kind of support that's available out there, isn't it? Like, I met you through coming on one of your chats or whatnot, and then ultimately this group opened up and we've had a bit of a conversation back and forth, everybody that's going to be on here, and it's been nice. It's been a good laugh, and ultimately, like, that's the most important thing, is that you're going through a shit journey, a difficult journey or whatnot, but there is places where you can talk and it's a safe space.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, certainly, mate. There's quite a lot out there now compared to when I was told my diagnosis. Like, I've spoken about it before, and so many Instagram accounts have been set up now, like yourself, and so forth, and support groups. There is help out there. Just trying to find it. It is.
Yeah, definitely, and it does make a difference. It is really helpful, because otherwise, where do you go? Who do you talk to?
Yeah.
Hey, lads.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
It's great. Yeah, good. I was out on the bike, cycling around. It's good.
Great, mate. Great. Thanks for jumping on tonight, mate, and kicking this M&M show off, buddy.
No worries. Hello from Europe, by the way.
Yeah, so I'll kick it off, guys. Just quick introduction about myself. I'm Kevin Button, for people who don't know me. I set up the Man Cave to spread awareness around male infertility and mental health. Bit of backstory about my fertility journey. I was told about 10, 11 years ago I was infertile, and yeah, pretty much changed my life. I went off the rails, as you do, because due to no lack of support. Drink, drugs, you name it. I enjoyed it, but I was in a lot of pain, and lucky enough, changed my life around. Met my wife, Nikki. Went on our fertility journey, IVF, ICSI, no joy. And we decided to call it a day. And to be fair, we're the happiest we've ever been. And yeah, we bought a dog, and the dog's kept us company. And yeah, that's a little bit about my background. Frank, I don't know if you want to touch on a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Frank. My partner and I have been, were trying for a baby around 2 years ago now, maybe 2.5 years ago. And after several months of trying to get checked out, see whether or not, I basically went along quite confident there wouldn't be anything wrong with me. So went along just to rule it out, and found out that I had a low sperm count and low motility. And they said we could carry on trying, but it was unlikely that we were going to conceive. It was devastating news, like, so stressful. It comes with all sorts of guilt and everything else as well, shame. There was nowhere for me at the time to kind of get support. I was off social media, so found it a real challenge. But we went through IVF. We were in a very fortunate situation where our family were able to provide us some financial support to be able to go through that privately, because the NHS was in all sorts of issues after COVID and whatnot. And we were successful on a round of ICSI, and now I have 2 twin boys. But I decided, through the kind of difficulties and challenges that I went through, wanted to share. So I started up a bit of a blog and a website called Beta Twin Dad, which is all about, my twins were born premature, but all about male infertility, IVF, and then kind of premature twins.
Great. Mark, do you want to jump on, mate, and say a little bit about yourself? Yeah.
Save the best for last.
Yeah.
So those watching, my name is Gareth, and my Instagram, which gives a hint to what I have, is called prettyfly4xxy. So at a chromosomal level, women are XX, men are XY, and I was born with an extra X chromosome. So I'm XXY, which is more commonly referred to as Klinefelter syndrome. But I prefer XXY because when people hear the word syndrome, they automatically see me in a negative light. That's just the way it is. So I found out, I'm 43 now. I found out at 37, my wife Anna, I couldn't get pregnant, and I had 2 sperm analysis, which came back to 0 sperm count. We went to see a urologist, and he was just the biggest prick on the planet. There's no nice way to just be honest. He said to me, I know we're all laughing, but I was sitting in the office, and I kind of thought he didn't have a plan. And he said, Gareth, I like to be honest with my patients. I was like, grand. And then he says, Gareth, it doesn't work downstairs. You need to get over that and move on. And that is how I was told about my infertility.
Yeah.
And I didn't know I was XXY. We went to London. I had 2 operations on my testicles, hoping to retrieve sperm. Took a cocktail of drugs to try and increase my chances. And then it didn't work out, but then we switched to using donor sperm. And now our twins were born in the Coombe Hospital, the maternity hospital in Dublin, in November 19, and we have a boy and a girl.
Amazing, mate. Like I touched on it with Frank earlier. We've been through some tough journeys, like through fertility and through mental health, no doubt. And we still got a smile on our face. And this is what the M&M Show's about now. I want to get the word out there and try and break the stigma attached to these topics that people don't want to talk about, mate. So great for sharing these stories, lads.
No worries, man. Of course.
You, mate.
Top man. I want to kick it off by I spoke earlier about the fertility show. I went to a fertility show last month. Have you been there, guys, yourself, or?
I was able to this time. No.
Mate, it used to be twice a year. I don't know if it's changing now. London and Manchester, and I went along with my wife this year, and not many people go here. Us men are dragged along to these fertility shows.
It's like a wedding show.
It is, yeah. As I say, there's a lot of clinics here offering certain procedures, and it's just kind of first time I went, it's kind of an event, a bit of an eye opener. But I think it's my 3rd or 4th now, and these shows are crucial. I know Testing was here. Ian Stones, he was watching just now.
Ian.
They understand it, and it was good to do see someone speaking about the men's side of things. And there was a lot on this year. Wellbeing shows, there was seminars. So I just wanted to touch on that and let other guys know and couples know that it's a great show to go along. And that's pretty much it, guys.
I did a couple of the Insta lives. They did some kind of pre-fertility shows, which I tuned in on. Yeah. And then my foolishness and lack of kind of looking into it, didn't realise it was actually a face-to-face event. Do so much working from home at the moment still that I didn't realise that people were going to meet people in a room somewhere. So I'll definitely be going at the next one, and we'll try my best to kind of get around, talk, and if I can offer anything to anybody, we'll be doing just that.
Gar, the last time you were in London, you went to the fertility clinic. Is that right? Or
me you're talking to? Or?
Yeah, did you come over?
There's a slight delay in the line.
Yeah.
So all my fertility treatment, all our IVF stuff was all in London. Everything. We didn't do it in Ireland because Ireland's a very small country, and all the specialism is in London. Like, we can fly to London in 55 minutes.
Yeah.
So why there just aren't the specialisms here. So we did it all in London.
Yeah.
So, it was amazing.
And that's another strain on your mental health as well. The financial side of things, like you said, flying from Ireland, coming over, food, hotels is quite a strain, mate, isn't it?
Yeah, well, funny, and Frank made a reference there. So Anna's grandmother, she was like 96 or 97 when she died, and she had a big life insurance policy. And with the money that she left Anna, my wife, that paid for our IVF and my operations and everything, that's, which is very, very thankful that she was able to do this. You know, it was kind of her legacy as such. Like, her great grandchildren exist. Get a bit upset thing about it, like, but yeah, we've like it. I'm trying to think now because we use, you know, you guys know this, we use euros, and it probably cost us. Anne and I worked it out once. We think it probably cost us around 33,000 euro between flights, accommodation. Because we didn't know anyone in the UK. Well, we did know some people, but they were dotted around the place. So yeah, so it was expensive, but we have a family now, so it was for us so worth it.
Yeah. It's so tough, and like, I think adding to it, and I look back now at the conversations that we had with the NHS when I first went for sperm analysis, the short conversation just to be like, it's unlikely you're ever going to conceive. You might as well, you know, continue trying, but we would recommend IVF. And then you wait a couple of months for someone from the NHS for an appointment, and that gets cancelled and pushed back. So then you start to discuss financials. And actually, when we started and went through our process, I was still waiting for an appointment because I continued to ask, what's wrong? Like, what is the issue? You're not telling me why. And they did a couple of blood tests or whatnot. And then more recently, 2 months ago, they said they offered me an appointment because I'd kept on like pushing them.
Yeah.
And then in that appointment, they said, so Mr. Fallon, I can see it's been well over a year that you've had an appointment. So sorry for that. Like, do you want to tell us whether anything's happened? And I was like, well, yeah, we've been privately gone through a round of IVF. My twins are now 8 months old. And he was like, oh, well, what do you want to do now? And I was like, well, if it's a health issue, like, what's wrong? You know, like, I want to find out. And he said, well, you should have had an ultrasound on your testes to see whether there's anything linked to cancer. So not even just fertility, like, is the issue cancer? You're waiting for a year and a half, almost 2 years for that appointment, and then think that ultimately that's something that almost they should have done from the off. So had obviously with COVID, like, it was a difficult time for the NHS. I understand that, but I think so many people are just kind of, okay, there is an issue. We're not going to find out why, but maybe you should, you know, go down the road of IVF, and there should be more done in terms of investigations, because ultimately I still have to go through that process. Yeah. And it's magical. Like, I wouldn't change it in some ways, because ultimately I've got the 2 boys, they're identical boys, but ultimately there's still that part of me which is like, it was through IVF. Like, I needed support to conceive naturally, and I still don't know, you know, whether I could again. And that impact, you know, is still playing over and over again, I guess, which is almost why I came up with the beta twin dad stuff, because I'm happy talking about it, but I'm still not 100% comfortable and confident to kind of have it on my normal page. So it's almost, I'm coming to that, but yeah, it's so tough, so difficult, and I think it's too easy for them just to push it. Okay, IVF, give it a go on.
Just, geez, I was just thinking of something there from my experiences with talking. So I've, like, Kev is quite aware of this. Like, I've become quite an advocate, I can say, about raising awareness of male infertility. I'm not blowing my own trumpet here. Like, I've done a lot of interviews. My original Instagram was with Kevin, so it's all thanks to
Kevin. Same. He brought us here.
His blimp is going above me here. What I was going to say is that, you know, think back about some of the stuff and some of the kind of use of, so I'm more aware of the use of language because my wife is a speech and language therapist. So when people use language to kind of convey what they're saying, they can be really nasty and difficult. So I'll give you a super quick example. We were at a beautiful period house here in Ireland. I swear, with the kids, probably about a year ago. And like, I'm very proud to not have sperm. Like, I tell people that because the twins exist because the person I am. And I know I'm I've gone for a lot of therapy for that. I'm very open about that. But I find when I say to people, I'm just hit them with this kind of bombshell of like I don't have sperm. I don't give a shit. Look at my children. They're like, fucking hell, this is amazing. This guy just kind of does, I don't really know this guy, and he just told me to have sperm. But you know what's really interesting? Whenever you use this kind of form of language, I find it breaks down barriers with other men.
Yeah.
Another guy I've got to know, his name is Wayne. I met Wayne once in the car park having a chat in a forest park. Wayne told me that he had a triple bypass in his heart, and we're still mates. And it was just because I was just so open about it all.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that relates to what you were saying, but
well, I mean, in some way, like, again, Kev, I think you found me. I did a comedy for thought 6-week comedy program that was for like a safe space for men to be able to share how they were feeling or whatever. And in the process of finding out that I couldn't have babies naturally, or couldn't conceive naturally because of my male infertility, it took me weeks, months to be able to talk to my dad and my brother and tell them. And like, I only told 2 mates. But then this comedy thing, I went for this comedy for thought thing, and she was like, okay, so these are some comedians, this is how they do comedy, like, do you have any issues or challenges that you're happy? And I just wrote it all down. And at the end of the 6 weeks, so just like 12 hours worth of these comedy sessions, I missed one, so 10 hours worth, wrote down, and ended up doing like a 5-minute comedy gig all about my male infertility and the IVF, like the round of IVF. And that was so easy because it was just sort of like, there wasn't any, I was going to say there's no thought process, but there was clearly, because it was a 6 weeks. But I think it was just that, like, the group together felt very comfortable, were able to share, and then to put it in humor was just so easy. Whereas it's like an uncomfortable thing to talk about for me, especially like what you're saying, just in terms of meeting someone generally. I'll feel my way around, you know, and is this something that I can share right now? But in comedy, I'm just like, right, I've got no sperm. I'm naming them after England football players, blah, 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 blah. And then, like, yeah, down to punchlines or whatever. And it felt so good. It's
like a weight off your shoulders, Frank, yeah.
Pardon? Yeah, exactly.
Like a weight off your shoulders, yeah.
Yeah, bloody right. And, you know, everyone's laughing and listening and then asking, you know, how did that impact your mental health? And it feels great when you start to tell more people, which is why this is so good, I guess, isn't it? It's just getting more people talking about it, breaking the stigma, like you're saying, Gareth. Only does good things.
It's great. Like it's not out yet. You guys are aware of this. I did a TED talk on the subject of male infertility and XXY. It's not yet released. Here I am.
I'm waiting. I'm eager.
I'm very excited. Like, I have to feel it. Like, I hope the cup of coffee is okay. 12 edits later. But I don't know what to say there. Sorry, you go ahead, Kevin. I've lost my train of thought.
You take your bike with you.
Yeah, I was going to say, is you pedaling on stage, or is it?
I love cycling.
We know. You know it's bad for you, don't you?
What?
You know it's bad for you.
Do you not know why I'm here?
Yeah, boy, aye. Yeah,
but you're like, we're on our private Instagram, on our private WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Like, I know everyone watching this, like some of the banter at the cracker on was like that joke I cracked. Or should we announce our sponsorship with Durex? That's not real, by the way.
It's great, man. Like I said, we can have a laugh and a joke about these things. Like, but I mean, it was tough times. Like, you know, just getting through these storms, and oh man, it's just great to jump on and do these chats. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the thing for me, like, I work in mental health as well. What I was really aware of is sort of having time. I didn't allude to it fully with my manager, but I just said we were having some complications and some issues, and I said it was health issues, and they said they're a mental health charity. They were like, take what you need, obviously, and you know, we can work out with work whether or not we can share some of your responsibilities at the moment or whatever, so you've got clear thought. And I think so much about my situation, and then other men in other sectors, in other ways of working with other families. Like, everyone is always in a different situation, and for some it's much harder. Imagine like working in the corporate sector, or like, you know, in the financial market, and going in and sort of saying, well, I've got this issue at the moment with male infertility. I just don't think that even in 2023 there's enough good workspace or other spaces for people to be able to talk about it. And it's so incredibly hard when you're going through that, especially if you're not able to share with families or friends, that then going into work every day, and you know what it's like at work, like every week someone's having, especially if you're in a big organization, someone's having a new baby, or you know, and they tend to be like, yeah, they're obviously going to celebrate, you want to celebrate with them, but it's so hard seeing that around you happening constantly. And I think that's what really want to kind of do as well, is focus on some of the stuff in different employers, different sectors, trying to get it spoken about, so that again it feels like a comfortable space for men just to be able to share anywhere, anytime.
Absolutely. Like now I was self-employed. Now I'm a stay-at-home dad, so like that's pretty hard going. But what I was going to say was like a lot of guys you talk to, when it comes to like male infertility, like a lot of guys see it as a, like in my experience, like a weakness, something that they should be ashamed of.
Yeah.
Like for me, like being born XXY, it's really, really common. Like what I have is the most common underdiagnosed genetic condition in the world to affect boys and men. Like it's, and one of the traits is infertility. But then there's some kind of really good positive traits about it. Like, you know, I have a form of a photographic memory and all this kind of stuff, like really kind of cool stuff, a lot of empathy for others.
Yeah.
Which is really great. But, you know, I think a lot of guys, whether you're XXY or XY, a lot of guys just struggle in silence. They think they're a failure. They think their partner or wife should find someone else. When it's like, seriously?
Yeah. It's
like we've all been there when it hits you to the core, like in being those really lonely spaces. Like I have a very poor relationship with my own family. I never told them, and I didn't tell them because they would make fun out of me. Like they're not great people. It'd be kind of like, oh, Gareth has no balls, you know, and it'd be all this kind of like, and be under the remit of it's a joke, but it's not a joke when you're in that space. And when guys kind of are talking about this, or I can understand when guys mightn't tell their friends at work, because like, oh, you know, they'd make some inappropriate comment, but it's like, seriously, listen to yourself. Like that's just not helpful. Someone has just told you of how vulnerable they are, and you're just making a joke out of that, and you think that's funny. I can see I get a bit animated about this because it's just not acceptable in 2023 or ever to be like that.
Yeah, it's true, mate. I was in still am in the construction industry, and I couldn't think anything worse. And we were in a small team. We wasn't, and I could never open up. I never did. Like I was struggling to tell the family. Like I was struggling to deal with it myself. So how am I going to deal with it? You know what I mean? If I can't share it with the family and friends, and work was the last on my mind, because the construct, like you said, like you know, banter and that, it can be brutal on times. And I think there was a boy. I think his missus was due as well, like, so it was constantly in your face and that, and you've been it, boys, you're happy for them and that, but deep down you're like, you fucking bastard. But you got to keep a smile on your face and get on with it, when I was dealing with so much pain, like, do you know what I mean?
Do you know what I found fascinating as well was, I remember you have conversation when you're out with the lads or whatever, and they're talking about if they did get pregnant, how quickly it took them to get pregnant. There's this thing around like, yeah, you know, she looked at me or whatever, or like, winked at her, all of a sudden, bang, you know, she's not
the sperm through the sky.
Yeah, and if you're not having conversation, because I remember it was taking us ages, and when I actually approached a couple of mates who like talked about it, it was clear that their journey to actually conceiving was quite a lengthy one and quite tough. But in that moment when you're down the pub, of course it was just like, you know, one night as soon as she mentions that she wants a baby. And then actually there's so much behind it that we don't share, because, you know, it's not, I don't know, people aren't going to come down and be like, God, it's taken us months and months and months. But that's what it takes, because I was thinking that it should just take sort of like a month or 2 months, and then, you know, we'd be pregnant. And actually, as the months go on, it's not. When you start talking about trying, that all of a sudden adds stresses and everything as well. But yeah, I always find that fascinating, that I then went back and like spoke, and they were like, oh yeah, it took us like 8 or 9 months, I think, or, you know, 10 months longer, whatever. And at the time they'd just been like, quick and easy, mate, done, you know. But with everything else, just these like, building it up.
Yeah, well, go on, Gar.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Kev. Go ahead.
No, go on, Gar.
Now it's off a train of thought. Like,
Nah.
well, actually, no, I'm only messing. Like, you know, what I say, you know, when lads are like that, you know, like, to be honest, like, when I found out, when that prick of a consultant told me, like, just say it, like, he's retired, like, which is a good thing.
I bet you got a dartboard in your house with a photo of him on it. I'm like,
I think it's behind me here. But like when he told me like about this, like it's like that's scene the best. So one of the things being XXY is my memory is completely visual based. So I remember that moment of when he told me, and all this extra detail that most of it is useless. Like he had loads of money trees in his office in these little glass vases covered in dust, and I was thinking, okay, you're really a consultant. It's very dirty and all this irrelevant information. And when he told me that, it was like that scene. Everyone can kind of visualize this in Thelma and Louise around at the end, and the helicopters are all there, and they're like, "Fuck this," and they just drive off the end. That's, I know I'm kind of joking about it, but that's the way it was for me. Because I was like, seriously, like you just said that to me, and I was like thinking, male infertility, like, is that a thing? Because no guys ever talk about it. I knew guys could lose the ability to produce sperm or through accidents, but I never knew that you could be born without sperm.
I laugh now, but at that time, obviously, I was in a world of pain. I remember when the urologist told me my diagnosis. He said, "Oh, it's like if I bring a student in," and I thought, "Yeah, no worries, nah, like no drama, like." They gotta learn them. Like, I'm a nice guy. I bring it in, and the next thing you know, he's like, "Oh yeah, Mr. Button, you're infertile. There's the door." And I thought, "You cheeky bastard, cheeky bastards!" Like, but like I said, I was in a world of pain then. But now looking back, I think what a prick. Like,
When I got my results sent through, I was in Nando's. I was just about to be going into the cinema, and we were looking at it while I was trying to. I bloody love a Nando's. I don't like it as much anymore. It's that scarred.
Yeah, get rid of that sponsorship.
For any of our younger viewers as well, Thelma and Louise is a classic.
Available on VHS soon. Sorry, Fry. Go ahead.
No. I was done. That was it. I was done. I just the moment is it's one that you won't forget. Finding out, yeah.
See, over the coming weeks, like I did enter a form of depression. Like I didn't know anyone. I didn't even not know it was possible. I felt so alone, and I really got into playing Assassin's Creed on the Xbox. You know, the one where you sail around the Caribbean, blowing up pirate ships, and like I got really good at it. It's about the only computer game I actually ever got good at. But I actually had the time. I used to sit up late at night drinking alcohol, playing this and blowing the shit out of everyone. You know, because it was just escapism for me. Because I was just didn't know what to do.
Was you thinking about that urologist? You fucking prick.
Put this cannon in your face. Yeah. Bit ridiculous, really, but go ahead, Kev. Sorry.
No, nothing. Anything else you want to touch on, boys? Anything you've seen in the public eye, or anything anyone should need to know about?
No.
You got your comedy stand-up runs on next week now. Is it Frank?
No, tomorrow night now. So there's another one tomorrow night. Yeah, hopefully. I'm hoping that it will take me to do a couple, because there's lots of these gigs around. What was the it got cancelled last minute or postponed, but there was a Money for Miles, although I'm sure it rhymed, but there was a story about somebody that killed themselves, and I say a story, there was somebody that killed themselves, and they now do like these comedy gigs regularly each year to kind of raise money and raise awareness, and that was that, but that got postponed last minute, but they're hoping to do it again in a month. So the connection with the person that came up with this Comedy for Thought show is that she spent half her time working at Jongleurs Comedy Club in London, and then half the time learning a psychotherapist university, something or other. So she came up with the idea and now is connected in kind of mental health, which is nice because ultimately, as much as it's, you know, all hopefully all banter and all funny, it is, you know, deeply rooted into my mental health at the time or whatever. So yeah, trying to just make sort of relevant gags around people that are famous or do things and try and link it to my lack of sperm. Some things work, some things don't.
I'm sure Gareth got a few jokes.
Send them to you.
Please do. Yeah. So I think, I mean, this is the thing. I think once you start like looking into it, there are more things out there, more things happening. And yeah, I was kind of desperate to find sort of men groups down my way because, I mean, I say down my way. In London, we've got like Andy's Man Club and other places where they meet up and go for walks and stuff. And then you just kind of chat and meet other guys in your local area, which is great. So I'm trying to get involved in more things like that in the community, make a bit of a space and meet other people in different situations.
Wow.
Cool. Yeah, they're good, mate. I've been along to Andy Man's Club as well, like, and counselling as well is another big thing as well. A lot of men, I was a bit rude and stuck my nose up to it when I was going on our fertility journey, but since then, me and Nick have had a couple of sessions, and I highly recommend it, guys. There's nothing bad or sad about it. Just go along, and it's helped us immensely.
Yeah,
cool.
Definitely.
Well,
I mean, go on, Gav. Sorry.
No, I was just thinking there, like, so as you guys both aware of this, I'm so proud to not have sperm. I know we've already said that, but like, I tell anyone and everyone, I can tell the fucking dog in the street. Like, I was out cycling, about 2 weeks ago. I don't know if you guys know I'm into cycling. Don't know if I ever told you that. But I sat on my bike.
Twice. I guess by the Lycra and all the photos you send in the Lycra, mate.
Well, I know. There you go. I was going to think of some ridiculous pun there, but it's gone. Anyway, maybe I'll bring it up a gear.
Nice.
Comedy, especially.
Saddle up.
Oh, yeah. So I was cycling. It's called the Waterford Greenway. So it's like what's it, miles? It's 30 miles each way, and I cycled from Dungarvan to Waterford City and back on the road bike, and it was amazing. I met this woman, and like she was just like out tootling along on her bike, and I got chatting to her, and we kind of cycled along together. And then I told her about being an XXY person, raising awareness of male infertility, and then she was involved in one of the libraries in Waterford, and she said, "Oh, I didn't actually have any cards on me for once." But she said, "I'll remember your name and I'll get in touch with you because we run these events in the libraries in Ireland where we get people to come in to speak about various different things. And you'd be a really good fit because no one else speaks about mental health and male infertility." And what I'm trying to say to people talking about this is these things happen because I'm so positive about the person I am. Yeah. Like I'm here talking to you guys. I've got to know you guys and loads of other people in this space because I'm very positive about speaking about mentality. And I would never, ever change myself if I could. I just never would. I just want to say.
I'm the same as you, God, to be honest. I'll be honest, God, since I met you, like I said about your diagnosis, I didn't know nothing about what you were going through until I met you, obviously. Like, and there's nothing out there. There's nothing out there about what you're going through, and I love the fact you're passionate about it, same as me as well, mate. And a lot more needs to be done, as you know.
Oh, absolutely. You know, like I'll just put it out there. If they're watching, I think, imagine next year if there was a focus in the fertility network event that you went to in London. Yeah. Imagine if they gave over an afternoon to guys like us speaking about male infertility. Yeah, like that would be amazing. I feel there should be more focus on male infertility because, let's be honest, you need the sperm to make the embryo.
We'll do right over then, guy.
Oh yeah, I'm living out. The road bike's parked here beside me.
What are you talking, buddy?
Yeah, no problem.
What do you do anything? You're doing a bit of running at the moment, aren't you, Kev?
I trying to do a little bit. I got a Cardiff half marathon in October,
Oh,
so
brilliant.
yeah, I'm pounding the streets. I've spoke about it before. Take the frustration out on the pavements, and yeah, I'm doing a little bit, boys. What about yourself, Frank? You're on the same on the running as well, I know.
I've put my name down for Ealing Half Marathon in September, which I just got an email today saying 16 weeks training, but I haven't been for a run in months. So I need to get into it. I would like to start up again because that was helping me out definitely. I was training during, God, I forget all my years around COVID, but during that time I ran and trained for Brighton Marathon, and I got like the fittest that I've ever been. Lost a load of weight, was in really, really good shape.
Yeah.
Got COVID a couple of weeks before. Didn't race the time that I wanted, but still finished it. And then after that, I've put it on. I haven't put it all and more back on. So I don't know whether the knees are going to take a half marathon this time round, but yeah, this all really, 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 really good for my mental health running. Love it.
Guy as well. You've done a marathon, I know, was it? You do a marathon, Guy?
Oh,
you do a marathon?
I've done 4.
4. Fair play.
Yeah, I know.
Which ones have you done?
Huh?
Which ones have you done?
I've only done Dublin. I've done Dublin. I got injured in 3 of them.
Oh, bloody hell.
Can I ask you something, Guy?
Go ahead.
Did you do running and like on your bike and that before your fertility journey, or did you get into all this whilst on your fertility journey?
So for those listening, so I kind of have always taken on these bigger challenges, and it kind of leads into kind of. So I'll start again. Okay, so being XXY, sorry. In Europe, we all measure testosterone on a scale from 0 to 30. Okay, 19 to 24 is a typical XY man's range. Okay, anything below that is considered low testosterone. So I have a naturally lower testosterone than, say, you guys would be. So my levels were 11 to 13 when I found out I was XXY. And in 2013, I cycled the length of Ireland for children with cancer. So, and I didn't know I was XXY at that stage. So I did on a third less testosterone than maybe other guys. And then I ran my first marathon in 2016. And I'm not knowing it's XXY because I found it in 2017. What really helped was running. Running helped me when I found out about being an XXY person. Eventually, with all the operations and everything, because like when we were in London, I used to run along the Thames. It was amazing. I remember running some helicopter port. I don't know where it was, but I remember it was brilliant. And I love running. It's brilliant. Sure, I get injured, but like, fuck it. It's like I rest up and go out again. I find it's really good for your headspace.
Yeah,
that's what I was trying to say, but it took quite a while to get there.
Worth every step of the way. At the beginning, though, you did start and said for those listening. So have you got a different story for those not listening?
Oh God. Well, the signal's breaking up now. Oh God, I can't remember what I said. Sorry.
No.
God, that's the practice version. This isn't the real version.
It's funny how we all took up running like.
I know it's mental. Yeah, like it's coming up. I haven't done any running in ages because I've been out on the bike, and because it's really hot here at the moment, and like see the temperature today. It was 22, 23 degrees. Like that's really hot for me. I cannot run that temperature. I can't. So there's a thoroughbred run coming up here, which is about in miles. Well, it's about 14, 15 kilometers from our home here. And you run through part of the National Stud. That's where I live. National Stud. It's a racehorse thing. But like,
I was going to say, isn't thoroughbred like horses?
Yeah, so the part of Ireland we live in, there's loads of studs all around us. And when the Queen came to Ireland in 2012, she went to a stud just down the road from our home.
Well,
that's before we lived here, like, you know. But anyway, how did I get onto that? Anyway, but the thoroughbred's coming up, and I might run that, and I'll see. You know, like my fitness is really good now, but I feel that my mental health, it goes together.
Yeah,
Like it definitely does. If your mental health is really good, your fitness, or sorry, the fitness is really good, the mental health goes with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
100%. Yeah, totally agree. Right. Anything else you want to touch on, boys? Or are we all good?
Nice. I don't know.
Anything
That's
coming up, Gar? Anything you got coming up, or
say again?
anything you got coming up? Like anything you want to talk about, or are you
My
all
TED
good?
Talk. Well, hopefully it'll be released.
What about your website, bud? You got a website as well?
So it's prettyfly number 4 xxy.com. Prettyfly4
xxy.com.
Spit it out, man, Gar. Fucking hell, spit it out. Right.
That might be it then, eh?
Yeah. What about you, Frank? You got a website as well, up and running, haven't you?
I do. Beta Twin Dad at www.betatwindad.com.
Brilliant. I think I'm going to leave it there because you were nearly breaking up as well.
Okay, fair play.
Right, thanks everyone for joining tonight. Really appreciate it. We're going to be on next month now at some point, and I'll send all the details soon. Right, Frank, thanks very much, buddy.
Yeah, perfect. Nice
Thanks.
to see you.
You all.
Take care.
Bye.
Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.